I got into it, I remember
Even though they're doing a
growing
job,
up
they almost feel guilty for asking for money for it. Spent an hour in their house and got to drive 20 minutes to Sheffield, it's an hour and 40 minutes time.
The class.
Beasley Workwear now proudly sponsors Trade Legends.
Guest presenter Nick Bundy. So Al has let us down. He was meant to be at the East Midlands Business Awards in Leicester, which is, I guess is like the Oscars of small business in Leicester. Sounds exciting. Do you know how those work, those award ceremonies? So if you buy a table, so you pay for your dinner, pay for a table, you miraculously win an award. So
Where are the awards?
I think he was going to go for with Unilight Torch Company of the Year. He was the only other company in the running was
Any
Unilight,
tables
yeah.
left?
No. But he's actually got COVID, so he can't come. But speaking about Al, I'm going to do a little giveaway. So if you're watching on YouTube, in the comments, leave me the funniest reason why Al's not here tonight, and you can win this. And I'll choose at random in the comments the funniest one. So,
ready. So luckily, because I'm here, the intelligence has gone up from a plumber to electrician. So
well, if you do a good job, you
Yes.
might replace him full time, which won't be difficult.
That's fine then. I've already not hit the table, so I'm winning at life so far. Unfortunately, there's another plumber with us.
So we've got Ian, IRB Heating, Ian Briggs, and we've got Viktor from SNAP-IT. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys.
Pleasure to be here.
You both come from London.
Essex.
Essex.
Essex,
London.
Yeah. How was the drive?
Close.
It was not bad.
Yeah.
Swift.
They were
Lovely, mate.
literally
2.5 hours.
Do you find that driving out of London, even though you've come a long way from London, it's fast to get into a further because the traffic's not as much as it is in the city centre?
It all depends what time you leave, right?
Okay.
You hit the jam, you start.
Yeah.
Going back is always faster.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
London's
So it's downhill.
brutal.
I know.
London is brutal. I literally went there because I've moved slightly out to Essex now. I went into London this week. I remember how much I hate it. It was. It took me like half an hour to go like a mile or something.
Yeah.
But this week was the worst one to go to London for. There was the tube strikes. I actually ended up cycling in the rain to a meeting in Mayfair, dumping my car in Knightsbridge on the curbs, coming back to penalties, walking back. It was very bad.
I heard something today. Is it the Blackwall Tunnel?
Yeah.
So that was designed for horse and carts, and there's a bend in it apparently is designed so the horse and carts wouldn't roll over. And that tunnel's now used by cars and buses, and they have 700 closures.
It's
a
a
year.
small tunnel. Rotherhide's even smaller, isn't it? I think. Yeah.
Crazy. So the way I do my business, I don't know about you, but I try and keep my work in the local villages so I don't have to do that much
Journey.
driving, because obviously the price of diesel, and you can be sat, like if I had to drive into Leicester, we used to do a lot of work in Leicester, you'd be queuing for an hour. That's an hour you could have been at a job
Wasted
working
time.
and earning money. So that's what I
as
do.
I say, I grew up in a little village. It was always the surrounding places. And it's only because of YouTube and everything, we just travel a bit further out. Like, we enjoy it and make it the most of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would struggle ever driving more than 15 minutes to each job before. And there would be no traffic. It's just school traffic in the morning. So you leave bit before, bit after you sound.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine like with you guys, because I never ever driven to London. I've got the tube and whatnot. Is it with the congestion charges? At the moment you go in, you're flagged up on the cameras. You've got a bill for going through London. Is that how it works?
You're in the system. So
okay.
you have to pay that.
They
I don't
change
go
it
in
now.
too much though. So
To be honest, while I did my plumbing in London for good 15 years, I did all of my work within one small area. I very rarely actually left, let's say, heart of London. I used to always be more like Notting Hill, West Side, and congestion charge, yes, once you're in, but you're paid for the day. Now they're going to change it, so you're going to pay per hour while you're moving. So that's basically a lot of the taxis that are there, that they're all day circling around, but you might just nip in to park your car 2 meters in the congestion charge, and you straight away hit with the 15 quid or whatever it is now. So,
And is it still with electric vehicles in and around? There's no charge, or are they bringing the chargers in for it?
I'm sure they will. I don't know if it is or isn't it.
It's going to happen. What are you thinking now with the prices of everything going up, electricity bills? It's going to be more expensive to run an electric car soon.
Oh, do you think they make those things complicated so that you end up paying a fine anyway?
It's just mad. It's just revenue, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got ULEZ in London as well now, so your vehicle has to meet that standard as well. And if it doesn't, you either got to pay for it or buy a new vehicle. So it's
They got you by the
That
balls.
is brutal. Though.
it is brutal, yeah. But
Changing a car, everything. If you're on a van and you have your own setup of the tools, or you're wrecking, and now you're going to have to upgrade it, it's a lot to consider.
More money, constantly. That's why you need an electric
you're lucky,
scooter.
mate.
Yeah.
You're lucky,
I
mate.
do feel lucky. I feel like it feels stressful to even think about going to London because like, which zone am I going to? I don't know. What do I have to, what website do I go on to register for this? And what happens if I go out of the zone? And
Yeah.
I went over the Humber Bridge in Hull. I was coming back from my dad's place, and there was like a lane where you could just drive onto it, so you didn't go and pay before you drive on.
All right.
So I went through. I thought, oh, I've just gone straight through. And my dad's like, this has just happened. He said, oh yeah, you still have to pay. You just have to go on the website. And then I completely forgot. So what would have been like £1.50 to go over the bridge was like 25 quid because I was late paying it. But anyway. Right, Victor, we'll start with you. So normally we ask people for their story, how they got into the trade. You've already mentioned that you were working as a plumber. And then, so I want to hear a little bit about that, but mainly we want to hear about SNAP-IT, where that idea came from, how difficult it was to get it out of your head into something that's real and people are using, and just tell us your story, really.
Cool. I got into trade because I couldn't speak English, and I just came to London, and I came for a weekend, and I ended up bumming on my friend's sofa. They insisted to pay the rent, so I went on the building site. I started being a helper for a plumber, I guess.
Yeah.
That turned into me doing more plumbing, but I picked it up really quickly. Got fully qualified, registered, started doing the plumbing in my neighborhood. This is when the gas safe register started allocating plumbers by the postcodes. I was the only gas engineer in W8, but I was the most inexperienced one.
And while you were learning plumbing, were you learning to speak English at the same time?
Yeah.
And were you picking that up? Was that helping being on site with people, or did you go and do like a language course? Or
I've got an English wife,
okay,
so I've been with her for 15 years as well.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot because most of the time you speak at home, right? Who you live with. So on site is probably in London, especially not the most well English spoken environment.
yeah,
So that helped.
not swearing.
And then thereafter, really, I set off on my own. I had a couple of chaps working with me, and there was a lot of the time where people wouldn't complete the jobs and they'll drag it into second day. But yeah, on Friday they would expect to get paid, and there was always this tug of wars. Pay me now, and I'll say, but you haven't completed the job, because obviously I haven't got paid, so I can't pay them. So I was looking for the ways how I could allow people to complete more jobs frequently. And we agreed that as long as they give me an hour's notice to deliver the materials so they can complete the jobs,
Yeah,
we're fine. If they don't give me an hour's notice, then if it doesn't get done Friday, tough luck. So we'll try again next week.
yeah,
And then I got screwed over on big projects for a large amount of money. I went on holiday for a month, and I was trying to reconsider what I can do better, what I've done to date, but better. And I was looking for three main reasons: never to be a prisoner of the money that you have already earned, so that most tradespeople must have experienced. The second one was I wanted to be able to work remote, so I was looking at tech. And the third one was I didn't want to give up 10 years of my experience in trade.
yeah,
And then I came up basically, I remember with the first thing I said, Deliveroo for plumbers.
okay,
And I was very lucky to be supported by lots of my friends. Some of them were already in the tech, so they gave me pointers where to go, what to do, how to present the idea, how to improve the presentation. One of them got acquired by Indeed.com, Jack Beeman. He built Sift, which is a marketplace for recruitment. And his investors, when they got a payout on the back of his acquisition, because he said he's going to invest into SNAP-IT, all of them followed on. So it was a lot of luck and a good timing on my side that allowed me to raise funds in the beginning in order for me to actually execute my idea.
So someone ripped you off. You took a holiday to reevaluate things, think what you were going to do, and that's when you came up with the idea.
Yeah.
And did you pitch it to people as Deliveroo for plumbers, or?
Basically, I was pitching it as a tool that will allow tradespeople to do more daily basis, provide better service to the end consumers that will provide them more jobs because they're good at what they're doing.
Okay.
And also, as you said, London is quite stressful because you have densely populated area, unforeseen circumstances of traffic, but yet lots of people to see because of the high density.
Yeah.
I was going to say, being in London, that would work perfectly. So like you said, take a mile to the wholesalers, that could take you an hour. But if like an hour off the job, getting the stuff an hour back. But if you could like say with scooters, or if it's smaller, is it scooters or is it cars or is it a bit of everything?
It's a mixture of everything really. We have 6,000 vans available to SNAP-IT, 100,000 mopeds, and we have a lot of e-bicycles now as well.
Yeah.
And fundamentally, one of the greatest thing for London is the fact that we're reducing the journey to the merchants to single leg, which basically means the environmental impact that is being saved for the town is much better.
Okay. So for people who don't know what SNAP-IT is, just explain SNAP-IT in a nutshell, what it does.
It's materials procurement and sourcing tool that also delivers instantly. We have over 100 merchants now on the system, all over within M25. We have multiple different courier partners. And when a person buys on our application, we find the nearest merchant that has an item in stock, and we'll find the nearest available courier to deliver it.
So it's an app. You're on the job, you need something, you go on the app and say, I need this. And then that's your software is linked with all the couriers in the area. So whether they're delivering parcels or food, they can take that job if they're near where you've worked out as the nearest merchants, pick that up for you and drop it off.
It pretty much utilizes the off peaks of the courier fleets. Like for instance, as a normal courier on a moped or bicycle, you'd be delivering pizzas lunchtime, and you'd be doing the same during the dinner. SNAP-IT gets really, really busy in the mid-morning to lunch because everybody does the merchants run, then they come back and they go, I need this bit. Then they get it on SNAP-IT. And then late afternoon, after 3 o'clock, when they've been to merchants for lunch and they get back to the job, and now they just focus on completing the job, and they realize, I need a little bit of this, a little bit of that, they can get it also. And the third peak actually is after 6 o'clock when they're buying the boilers for the large installation next day. Now we launched a new service where you can actually schedule a delivery. Instead of that traditional van that gets packed with boilers and then goes around town and you never know what time it arrives, we do is each one of the couriers has a designated job. So we can actually say your boiler going to arrive with you within 15 minutes accuracy. Yeah,
and it's good as well. Like, you look at the Amazon now, we can track when our parcels are coming up and literally see the van driving around the area. Where I live, it's not nice and free, and you know when it's coming, no traffic. But for you guys as well, to have that accuracy on a job where, let's say for us as an electrician, need a fuse board, or we're fitting a fuse board and we need an RCBO, we're one short, and it would literally hold the entire day and job up with testing, payment. What you have there is, well, it's awesome, isn't it? Really, in a nutshell, as long as it works, one performs, and you've got all this extra people. Because before we met or spoke earlier, I had no idea that you had access to hundreds of thousands of couriers. I thought it was like just guys that you employ. The access now with technology and the advancements we have and tracking, I suppose once it all meshes together, it just works very, very well, doesn't it? And it helps a lot of people out on site and a lot of time saved.
And the beauty of it is, like, the higher density of the merchants we get on board, which is basically multiple nationals, then we have independents. We're getting now, within 1 year of trading, really, we have got the higher density of the merchants in London than Screwfix. And the difference is Screwfix has a lot of those, what they call the click and collect locations, where they actually don't hold the stock, whether we have all fully stocked merchants.
Yeah.
And each one of those merchants might have a different angle of the items that they stock, which basically means that all of them united together, we have one point of access to find anything in London, really, in the fastest possible way.
I also like how you're using couriers, like you said, they're busy at lunchtime, they're busy maybe towards the end of the day when people are having their evening meal, but it gives them a chance to earn money in their quiet periods because they can be working for SNAP-IT.
It took a lot of time. to educate them to go in the plumbers merchants, because they would walk in and they were looking for pizzas.
Got you.
And then suddenly you get, in the early days as well, we were pushing them a little bit as well. They would have a full roll of 25 mil poly pipe that they would just put it on like a scuba ring.
I've got an image of a guy on a bike with the boiler on his back. Yeah.
We pushed them far enough. Now we're looking more for safety.
So, ladies and gents, if you want to save big on some big name brands, then Trade Legends is the place to do that. Head on over to www.tradelegends.uk/discounts.
Well, because it's just London-based currently.
Currently, yes.
And you potentially moving it further afield, or is it literally staying around cities? Because I can see it being useful around my area, but you obviously wouldn't be as busy as you would because of the traffic. You would have to pick highly dense areas to work from.
I think, you know what, it would work in every area, and I think the main point of how it really will work in every area, number one, we are the source of point to find anything. So you don't need to call your merchant to find out who has what, because we can find it instantly. Secondly, we're looking right now to integrate credit solutions. Number one, that tradespeople can get from 14 to 30-day credits. So we're de-risking merchants from liability of running the credit lines to other tradespeople. And thirdly, we're looking to implement the system also where you would be able to send a link from our app directly to email of your customer that they will be able to do the Klarna, whichever else. So you would kind of hack your estimate in half. So one half of it could be paid over a period of 6 months by Klarna, another one is you directly. So it allows you to convert more quotations faster.
Yeah. So this is a thing that your initial idea, you got that working, and now you're thinking of
Building
ways
on
you
it.
can add value to it. What about if I order a boiler and the nearest merchants, and there's a courier nearby, it's more expensive than the one that's a few miles down the road? Does the app give you a choice of where to buy it from, so you can?
Currently, what we do, it would come down to our customer service. And normally if there's a boiler purchase, most of the time it's not an urgent purchase. If somebody buys a boiler without just randomly buys a boiler on the app, we'll call them up, hey, do you need it now?
Yeah.
Because if they'll say yes, we will put a foot on the gas and we'll deliver it. I think our fastest boiler delivery has been under an hour.
Right. Okay.
So which is damn good considering the fact that you can't get your hands on the boilers in London currently because there is a massive shortage of them. Most of the time people want boilers delivered certain time frame, and then we're looking for more cost efficient way of sourcing them.
Okay. So it seems like I got everything covered. So if you are using a network of delivery drivers that are already working in, like where I live in Leicester, then there's no reason why SNAP-IT wouldn't work in Leicester, because you just do the same thing, you would use them.
Correct.
Do you need to give them any training, or?
To be honest, now most of the time what we do now, we just talk with the fleet management partners.
Yeah.
And we have couple people, or quite a few in-house couriers, but they know exactly what they're doing. If we're opening up a new area, it's for them to educate their fleet to make sure they know what they're doing.
Okay.
But there is still occasional bump where, we have to speak Portuguese via Google to communicate. And, being myself 15 years ago, 17 years ago, not speaking English myself, we invest a lot of patience into people to, make sure they understand what they do and what they need to do to help them to progress.
Last little thing on that, anything I would be interested in is payment wise. So you obviously have an app, you have your card details and that. You guys take a slice, the courier takes a slice. That's pretty much in the overall thing of it. And it's very cool, isn't it? Very, very cool. I can see, like you say, your Essex. Have you used it before?
Not yet. Sorry.
That's fine.
But it is a fantastic idea, because it is literally, it's just time saving, because as you said, you don't have to stop working. Like if you're doing something and you think, I've got to do that as well, I haven't got it, you can literally just punch it into his app. Someone brings it to you, and you haven't got to stop. Yeah. So it is.
I was really impressed, because I thought initially, I think most people's first impression is you've got a few mopeds and guys working for you who will fetch it, and I'm thinking, well, how's he going to be able to cover the whole of London? But the fact that you've tapped into something that was already there, an infrastructure that's already there, it's genius. It's really
cool.
But it works both ways as well, because all of the people who work for food delivery businesses, what they're looking to do is generate the retention of the couriers, because the more of the popping up different instant delivery services there is a massive demand for couriers.
Yeah.
So in order to retain your courier, you need to feed the courier. So the more jobs you can give them, the better it is for that company. So it's kind of a mutually beneficial to partner.
Yeah, because if they're at work and they're just sat waiting for something to come in, they're not earning any money. Whereas if you're regularly giving them work in the quiet spots where they're not delivering food,
they're going to treat you well and try and do it as quickly as they can for more work and more money. So everyone's a winner. I like it.
Awesome.
I know, right? Come up our area. We'll give it a go.
Maybe we'll start doing electrical soon.
I hope. Well, this is it. So what I wanted to get on
I was talking to Nick earlier about this. Because obviously you started in plumbing and that's why you've gone with plumbing. But have you got any plans for...
In London currently, we have a couple building merchants that have a very comprehensive stock of both plumbing and electrical. So we haven't turned down a single electrician yet. We managed to deliver everything. We don't actively advertise that we do it because we really looking to put work in mastering the plumbing catalog, and that's an endless game. I think the electrical would be definitely thing on the horizon to do.
Yeah.
And it's just adding more
to the portfolio.
Yeah.
I think that's really good because I think you probably know that it would work for electricians, but you want to nail it with what you're doing first, perfect that before because people would be tempted, I can make loads of money from doing it for electrics as well, but you want to do it properly, you want to do it right.
It's like doing anything. You don't want to spread yourself thin.
Yeah.
You want to really master one area. Basically what we're doing now, we're still very much focused on London, making sure that we provide the best possible service for our Londoners, our London-based customer base. While meanwhile, we're piloting the expansion and seeing how it would work elsewhere. So today we actually onboarded the first Birmingham branch.
Okay.
So it was quite interesting. It was like a throwback 3 years ago when I first time walked into a merchant with an iPad saying, hey, this thing is going to get you lots of sales. And they go like, get out.
Yeah.
So after London, where we have multiple nationals, as I said, hundreds of merchants walking in with this full confidence and this guy behind the counter going like, nah, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I was like, people in London pay 500 quid to become a member. And they go, I'll give it to you for free. Let's try it. They go, nah, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Well, that'll soon change, won't it?
You would think so, but I didn't realise you say you have to convince a company to go onto your system kind of thing.
In the beginning, you do because they don't know what they're missing out on. But once 1-2 people are on it, then they all want to be part of it. Like Screwfix Sprint,
don't they?
Screwfix Sprint came out. It was the best possible thing for us. Like we had merchants lining up, banging on our door. Can we please be part of it? Because suddenly they're competing against the largest, let's say, retailer / merchant that delivers instantly, and they don't.
No.
So that's an instant disadvantage. So now they want to be part of it.
Yeah.
Trade Legends has now partnered with Tradeify. Get a free 14-day trial plus 50% off your first 3 months with discount code TRADELEGENDS.
Right, let's move on for a bit to you, Briggsy. Ian Briggs, IRB Heating, plumber. Give us your background story, how you got into the trade, where you started, and then all the way through to you're on your own now, self-employed, and you do quite a lot on social media. So
yep. Okay. All right. So I finished school, same as everyone. I kind of sat on the sofa for about 6 months, playing Zelda and bringing the couch towards the telly. And my mum went, "That's enough. You need to just go and get a job." I found a job. It was just a terrible factory packing job. Didn't like it. Got another job. The geezer I was working for didn't like him. Done another job with electrical motors, rewinding motors and things like that. Done that for a little while, but it was the same place every day. And I soon realised I can't be in the same place every day. And then it was my mum, actually. She found me an apprenticeship with a local training company. I went down there for an interview, got through all of that, and they said to me, "I'll find you an employer." They literally found me an employer. He pulled up at my house. I went and sat in his van, had an interview, and that was it. I got the job.
Yeah.
And then, I done a full apprenticeship. So it was 4 years at college, day release, working the other 4 days, doing it proper, like the long way kind of thing. And then after I finished all the college stuff, then it was like doing a year as an improver, where you do your gas and all of that sort of stuff. It's kind of a year where they just sort of rinse you for a bit extra cash, really. You know how to do the job, but no, that was good, really. And to be fair, it was a really good thing because the company I worked for, I've only ever worked for one company and then for myself.
Yeah.
But the company that I worked for, they had like, I think they had about 12 guys working for them. And so like, I'd sometimes just go between the different, so you sort of learn how they work and how they work and how they, and you can sort of pick up different things.
The good points from each one.
Yeah, exactly. And you sort of work out, oh, that was a bit, or, you know, but.
So you weren't sure what you wanted to do. Your mum found you an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
But not normally, like for me, it was family.
Yeah.
Because your Uncle Pete is a plumber.
Yeah. My granddad, he was a plumber.
Yeah.
And that's who taught my Uncle Pete.
Yeah.
So it is in the family.
So at that point where you weren't sure what you want to do, did your Uncle Pete not think, was he not looking for an apprentice or?
I mean, we don't live, I lived in London at the time and he lived out in like, so from there it was probably about 45 minutes away.
Right, okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'd done my, you know, when you did work experience and stuff at school, year 10 and that, I went and done that with my Uncle Pete.
Yeah.
And
did you like it?
I kind of did, but like Pete said to me at the time, he said, I never thought you was going to actually do it because I think he gave me a job with a toilet once and I was a bit like, I ain't touching that.
Yeah.
You know, like, what is going on? But yeah, I don't know really. I just kind of, I don't, like when you're 16, it's hard to know what you actually want to do. I knew I was never academic, you know, I'm quite smart, but I can't.
Pen on paper, it sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can't focus too much. So like if you sit me down with, I'm distracted instantly. Like I'm like looking for something else to do. So I can't.
I'm guessing you're like me, not great with the paperwork side of the.
Well, well, you know, but yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I mean. So I done that anyway, and then it was. So I worked for that after I passed all my gas, done the improver sort of thing. I think I worked for that company for like nine years or something like that. And then, yeah, it must have been 2011. It was like, I think that was the time when the recession sort of come along a bit. And at the time, like before that, we done British Gas contract work, like all the time. That's pretty much all we did.
So London based, is it?
Yeah, it was all like East London, North London, all of that sort of stuff. And then we stopped working for them because they had cut down all the terms and rates and it just become a joke really. So we finished that. And then he started doing all council work and that was like all over the place. We was going over to Kent and like I went over near Fort Park one time and I said to him, you know, this is just ridiculous, but it was what it was. But basically what happened was he sort of put all his eggs into that basket. And then as the recession come along, it was like council started cutting the funding and like he didn't have the work to keep up with it. So like it basically come down to it was me, him and one other guy left on the firm. And then eventually, like, you know, he kept us going for as long as he could, but eventually he sort of said, like, I can't do it anymore, you know, we're going to have to finish it here. And, like, he paid me redundancy.
Yeah.
And the money that he gave me for that is what started me on my own.
Did you know that was coming? Did you have any time to prepare for it, or was it?
I kind of knew it was coming, but I didn't really prepare for it as such. You know, I wasn't worried about it.
Classic British.
Yeah, well, you know, right, I was
going to say, was it a scary jump from being employed for such a long period of time to then going, right, I've got to do all of this by myself?
No, I was quite calm about it, to be honest. It was, my mum, bless her, I remember she was like, I don't know if she's as confident about stuff, but she was like, she was so nervous for me. Like, how are you going to start on your own? You don't, you know, and I said, don't worry about it, it's fine, you know, it will all work out.
So here's a question for you. If he hadn't folded, do you think you would have gone self-employed, or do you think you'd still be working for a firm, or do you think you would have gone for it eventually?
It's hard to say, to be honest, isn't it? But it's like, when you're just work for a firm and you're getting paid every week and, you know, there's a job, all you got, because all he did, he would literally the night before text me an address.
Yeah.
I just went to the address. I didn't know what I had to do. I just went there.
That sounds nice.
It sounds bliss, don't it? It sounds so nice.
And like when I got home, like to be fair, I did still like put the hours in. Like I still worked hard and, you know, I weren't getting home early or anything. But would I have done? I don't know. It's quite easy and comfortable being employed.
Yeah.
And like I didn't know if I'd make it on my own. So, you know, I'm glad that it happened, but it definitely forced my hand.
It's like, it's for most tradesmen, it's a natural progression. You start with a firm and then you eventually go self-employed. That's just what happens, isn't it? But it's interesting just thinking about you were obviously pushed into it, so you had to do it. It's like being chucked in the water. You either sink or you swim, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. I remember. Yeah, just went and had to go and buy a van.
Yeah.
I had some tools, not all tools, so I had to go tool shopping.
Yeah.
Just had a van. I think my first job I done in a car. You know, I didn't even have a van yet.
The
So
same thing.
yeah. So
My biggest thing was to try and get work to start with. That was how do you start? Like, how do you get that first customer? Like, where do you? It helped with me. My dad was in the trade, so it's simple enough. And I get a lot of questions off of new lads now, but you probably do as well.
Yeah.
How do you go about it? And nowadays, you just social media.
yeah.
It's one of the key things for it. So, how long have you been self-employed now?
Just over 10 years now.
Oh, right. So, good chunk of time then. So mastered it, smashed it.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I think that's the key was always just, and this is what I always say to people when they ask, literally do a good job and, you know, and keep the customer's house clean and tidy. Yeah. That's a big thing. If you go in there and make a mess of everything, that's what they remember, isn't it? So just do a good job, keep the customer's house clean, and they will then tell their friend, and then you get a job there, they'll tell their friend, and then you'll get all them new jobs, and you'll also get the repeat work as well.
Yeah. I'm also like, do a good job, keep it clean. I like to explain to the customer what I'm doing at all times, why I'm doing it. Because if anything changes, the worst thing for me for anyone to ever think I was ripping them off.
Yeah.
So you're like, right, I'm coming to fit a new boiler, and then you find something that's wrong. You've got to do some extra work. Just keep them in the loop, because you don't want to be surprising them with something that's going to cost them more money. That's the worst thing.
I'm a bit like that as well. You start sort of explaining, and I said, I'm sorry, I know this is boring, but and I sort of just sort of go through it. But people like that. They like to know, because you know, like we know boilers, you know, fuse boards, and like, but to the customers, that's all you got. Fuse boards.
Yes, mate. It's true though. Like it's a different language. To them.
They don't know. Yeah. They don't know. So if you can spend 5 minutes and sort of just explain to them, like, this is what this does, and that does that because of that. Yeah. They go, oh, right, okay, I didn't know that.
Whether or not they take it in is a different story. But we have the set. And when I do it, when we run through stuff like the rewire I've just done, we run around every single socket, every switch, just so they know we've got our iPads out, ticking everything off. And that's the point there where we can get a little backwards and forwards, a bit of banter, and they leave. When you leave, it's on a happy note most of the time, hopefully. Yeah. And you've got a rapport with them, and you've got a bit of friendly banter between you, and you literally, as you're closing the door, they've got a smile on their face, and that's the last thing they'll remember about you is the nice, what a nice lad.
Yeah, exactly.
As you go, and then that goes on to, we'll go to the shop tomorrow.
I think also is like what you mentioned, is communication chain throughout the process. Yeah, I think when something's discovered as a tradesman or a tradeswoman in the process of something, it's not going to be one bad news and then it's going to be, here we go, there's another reason. But if there is a constant communication chain, the same way you mentioned, Ian, I think it softens the impact and also builds that trust, and in the end ends with a smile regardless.
Yeah, and they can also sort of see, if you've explained that this is what's going to happen, and then this, and then if you show, like, if you uncover something, you lift the floorboard and you go, you go, well, it shouldn't be like that, and but.
And also, you can cover yourself. Like for us, one of the worst jobs is like changing an immersion on an old cylinder.
Oh right, yeah.
So just by talking to the customer, you can say to them, right, before I start this job, it might go absolute dream and I'll be done it in half an hour. Or when I try and turn that out, it's going to twist the cylinder. If it splits it, it's going to be a new cylinder. If you tell them that before you even start, then you've not, they know that there's a risk that this could happen. Yeah, if you start doing a immersion, you've told them it's 115 quid plus VAT, you split the cylinder, who's going to pay for it? They're probably going to want you to pay for it because you've just split the cylinder.
Yeah, they didn't know.
Things like that, if you explain them to your customer before you start, it's protecting yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You prepare for the worst and say the worst case scenario, and then everything else that happens on top of that is a bonus.
Yeah,
most of the time.
So I went on holiday and I was walking along the beach and I heard this woman in the sea screaming, "I've been stung, I've been stung." Now I've seen a programme on this on the Nature Channel, so I pissed on her and she said, "Buy a wasp, you twat."
Well, I've got a question for you then, being top of the trades with you guys. Is no one going to comment on that?
Has he had a lot of these? Or?
Just water. Wiring in boiler systems. So obviously we can put the feeds to. There's a lot of electricians I know that will do the S plan, the Y plans, all that sort of stuff. I'm guessing you guys do your own boiler wirings and whatnot. And what becomes the point where obviously stuff is tested, certificated from our end, but you guys can do it, you know, willy-nilly and it works and whatnot. Where's the line?
I was going to say this to you actually, but yeah, it's like we've always sort of seen it as from the spur.
Which I think is like one of those urban myths. Like
I don't know if that's true or not, but
it's not true.
To my knowledge, yeah.
But I was speaking to you, like, if an electrician started working on gas in Biltborough, so why do we think it's okay for us to work on electrics, like electric showers and wiring up heating systems?
It is definitely a touchy subject, this one, because it gets brought up all the time, doesn't
is it?
This one.
I would say around my area, I've never really been taught how to wire a boiler up, to be honest. I've put a few spur in, I've done a few thermostats, but if you were to say to me, you can do this plan, that plan, I don't know.
I think this is sort of the thing.
Yeah.
Because there's been times when I've had an electrician come to the job,
scratching his head,
and then they've asked me how to do it.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
so,
I'm not saying all electricians, but just
I know loads that do it, and I know loads that don't. I'm one of the ones that have never been taught it in college or anything, so I've never done it. So when we've turned up with the plumbers around my area and I've gone, oh, can you do that? Yeah, no problem. And I'll certify it, because realistically, if it's a hardwired system on a fuse spur, it's part of the installation. So anything after that, wiring to the boiler, is part of the electrical installation, which is a certificate, technically. But realistically, in real world situations, which this all is, that never happens. You guys do your bit and it works, and we'll put the power to it. If we're testing it afterwards, fantastic, but sometimes that doesn't work either.
And that's the thing though, like, we'll wire it up and we'll do what we consider as a good job and it works, but that's as far as I know. Oh, the power's on and it's working, but is it safe? Is it okay?
Safe, yeah.
And a chap mentioned to me once, when I did a video about me wiring a boiler, I think I did like an S plan or whatever, and he just said to me, have you done all your, like, is it earth impedance tests and all this?
So your ZEs, your
I'm like, what? No, I've just done it what I thought was right, turn the power and it works, and that's as far as my knowledge of electrics goes. I do enjoy doing it, but I would like to, if there was I think there should be a course for plumbers, like an electrical, some kind of certification where we can do the basic wiring a boiler, and we'd be able to certify that as safe.
Yeah, being an electrician has done it for over 10 years now. It's a very simple, if you were to get a multifunctional tester, they ain't cheap, about 800, 900 quid for a semi-decent one. There's only really 3 tests that you need to do. Learn how to do it, which system, and have a sheet of realistically what the result should be within this range. That's all you would have to do, really. Obviously, going through, you'd have to be with a CPS scheme, register, pay for it, all that sort. But if you were to go, I want to do what you guys are doing now, but I want to do it a bit more correct. If you were to have one of these, check it, results are all good, I know I can walk away from that being safe, then that's a way to doing it. But it's just more stuff to do, more money.
For instance, I remember when I did the unvented hot water cylinder course, they were very specific about the wiring that you need to use a heat resistant cord, you need to use that size of it, and there was a lot of detailed information about how it should be done. So it almost like it doesn't certify you to do it, but they almost acknowledge the fact that you will be doing it.
If you're going to do it safely at least.
Yeah, so basically there is a definite acknowledgement of that, I guess, the gap of the trades overlapping, and there is a level of sensibility of it should be educated. So I think definitely a course for plumbers to gain some sort of qualification to do definitely would add a lot more transparency.
Yeah, it's I've always got me with it, because I would love to be taught how to do it, but then again, if the plumber that does it all the time that I work with, and he wants to do it for me, and I'll just certify it and make sure it works, then
I'm quite happy to have an electrician come and certify it. You know, I enjoy wiring, to be fair, like heating wiring, because it's just interesting. I like sitting in the cupboard and just joining it all together.
Especially nowadays, like you say, you got the different boxes, the terminations. Like back in the day when we used to take them off, you would take the box lid off and you would look at it.
Oh yeah, you still do.
Still do.
S plan or a Y plan, you take the wiring sensor off and it's just a complete mess. And I quite I've done it a few times where I've literally just disconnected everything and done it again, nice and neat, and it's quite fun.
It's probably quicker to do that than try and trace it all out.
Yeah, because it's not something we do all the time. When you do get a job where you can do some wiring, it's
you
nice.
Make it nice and neat. But it's weird because we wouldn't go to someone's house who's half had their kitchen wired, and they'll get us in just to certify it. Well, we wouldn't do it. Like, you're not certifying.
Well, it's the same for us. If someone rang me and said, "I fitted a boiler, can you come and sign off the gas?" You'd be like, "No way."
Exactly.
Right.
But I'm happy sign your guys are wiring off with the boiler.
Yeah.
It's just a strange one. It's just like everyone does it. Well, I think anyway.
Yeah. Right, Ian. Let's quickly cover you on social media now. So you're self-employed. You're running your own business. What made you get into social media? And I'm guessing you started with Twitter.
Yep.
Did you?
I did.
A lot of plumbers did.
Oh, really?
A lot of plumbers did.
Yeah. Do you know what? I honestly don't know why I started on social media, because that's how me and you first met.
Yeah.
So when was that? Like
2016, I think.
Yeah, it's a while back.
Yeah.
So I think I've been working for like 5 years up till that point. I don't know why I started it. I just think I was on there one day, and then I think maybe because I think we was pretty much at the beginning of that.
Yeah.
And then I think I must have just maybe found you on there, and there was a few of us, weren't there?
Yeah.
And we just sort of started talking, and it was just like sort of became friends kind of thing on there.
Like
and then
a
we
nice
just
little forum sort of thing.
Yeah, just like, and then I really don't know. I think we just started putting some stuff up, and then like someone would comment on it or something, and then you realised, oh, people are interested in this.
What
And
I
it was
found was it
weird.
was stuff that people could relate to.
Yeah.
Because we were working, putting what we were finding at work or jobs we were doing, and then we kind of grew a community. And it was like you working on your own, me working on my own, but we're now not on our own because we're chatting, we're posting on this platform.
That's it.
And it really took off on Twitter. Twitter was like the #1 platform for plumbers back then.
It's so strange, isn't it? Looking like nowadays compared to what it is but then. But
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, really, wasn't it? It was like, because it didn't really exist, that thing, and then all of a sudden, there was just more and more people getting involved, and then it sort of become a community, and like you say there, it's like if you work on your own, it's all of a sudden you've got someone else, like it's a friend, internet friend,
to share the same problems that you have.
and then
share
like, you
problems, give
bounce
advice,
ideas off,
or
and-
I see how Ian in London, who I never would have met if it hadn't been for social media, how he's racked his van out or what tools he's using, and I'm learning from him, he's learning from me, and then you introduce Andy, Harry, what's G's name? Gareth.
Yeah.
You got Wales, London, Newcastle, the Nicholsons, and they're all doing different things differently. You're learning off them, and then you're speaking to them every day, and then we have a trade show, installer show, and then that becomes like a place for us all to meet.
Yeah.
So you just become.
That's it. I think that was the first time we met, wasn't it?
Yeah, we met at a show, and then it just becomes like a community, and then obviously, what are we now? 2022, so 6 years later, we've moved off Twitter as a platform.
Yeah.
Still on there, but hardly ever, to now Instagram.
Yeah, and it's, for me, like, I know you guys do YouTube. I can't be bothered with that. It's far too
It's
much.
a lot of effort.
It's far too much effort for me. I'm like, Pete knows what I'm like. I can't I'd never get a video out, mate, I tell you. But like Instagram, I still enjoy that because I think it's just a nicer platform. Like
it's
people,
friendly.
yeah. I don't personally get any negativity on there myself, so I'd like
now
to
you
keep it that
associate
way.
with me and him.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
coming
I'm
now.
done for now.
Yeah, Christ.
But no, I like that. And like people come to you and they like ask questions and they want some help and stuff. I mean, it is quite a lot sometimes, isn't it? It's like when the DMs are just rolling. But
The thing is, what people don't understand is you put something on which is interesting and they want to ask a question, they've got to think 100 other people are probably going to ask this exact same question.
yeah.
And we've said it before, if you went through all of your message requests, it would be a full-time job answering people.
Yeah. But it's, it is definitely, it's quite stressful as well, isn't it? But it's
I've seen that you do it quite a lot. If you, like you say, you do a post and you get 100 messages, it's just I can see a pattern coming here, and you'll just post a story, say, right, I'm getting a lot of messages because of this, and then just explain it in the story.
Yeah, but now you know that's going to happen. Normally we do it before.
Really?
build it into the story.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just so behind in DMs. I just, like you said, I just don't have time.
Yeah, but no, it's like, that's obviously something that we have to worry about. Like, obviously, the more followers you get, the more messages you get, and I don't know how like famous people live, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, that's crazy. But
Social media are people for, and they pay someone else to do it. That's
yeah,
it.
probably, yeah. But in general, it's just a fantastic thing because, as we said, like from Twitter, it's sort of, that's how we met and become friends. But like, it's still happening now on Instagram and stuff like that, and it's like you go to the trade shows now, and like you're not just going to the show to look at tools and like see what Unilight have got out, but you go there to do that and to see your mates.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's not even a case of just go home after the show. It's like people will stay down. And
I've seen.
They will have a beer, and you know,
it's seen the videos.
It's a good time. So it's good fun.
And you get opportunities from posting on social media. Once your account grows, companies start to notice you, and you start to get opportunities, whether it's paid, or they'll send you some free tools. Or we went to Germany to the world's biggest plumbing fair. A company
that was crazy.
take you. Hotels, flights, everything's included.
You went to Stabila as well.
I've been to Stabila, yeah.
Cool.
I mean, you've had loads of opportunities, haven't you? Really, over the years.
Yeah, I've had a few. It's been all right. It's been good.
You work with Valent; they're your preferred brand of boiler, so you get opportunities like.
Yeah, I don't work for Valent.
No, you work with Valent boilers, and then maybe they'll say to you, "Oh, can we come and film you for the day?"
Yeah,
and you know that just didn't happen to.
No, it doesn't. But
anyone.
That is kind of like. You know, you get a lot of people as well, didn't you? Like saying, well, why are people coming to you?
Yeah.
But you sort of get out what you put in.
Yeah.
So,
well, you think about it, you are putting your time.
Yeah.
You're not getting paid for this to build up a platform by editing videos, making sure that your content you put out is worthwhile, adds value, someone can learn something from it. That's all things you're doing to build a platform, and then companies will want to use your platform if you want to work with them.
Yeah.
That's just how the world works, really.
Yeah, no, that's right. But you do put the effort in, don't you? That is the thing.
It's a lot of hard work.
It doesn't just drop into your lap.
No, I don't think a lot of people quite realise. It's like, you know, just doing posts or doing stories. It's literally like having two jobs. You're doing your plumbing job, and then you've got to do all of that as well. So
and you've got to make sure it's
consistency, right?
Yeah. But you've got a lot of pressure to make sure what you're putting out there, what you're saying is correct, and because people are waiting to pull you apart on everything.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to be quite confident in your skills or your ability, and like literally, this is another thing I say on there. It's like no one knows everything.
No,
you're always learning. So like, you should never like just come across as I'm the oracle of this,
but the
that, the
problem
other.
is you don't know everything.
No.
But the people that are judging you, they do know everything.
Well, yeah.
The thing is, though, like you said earlier about a boiler, if we've got a set price for a boiler, when Ian posts a picture of a boiler, anyone can say anything, oh, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Looking at a picture, you don't know what's on the other side of that wall, what's in the next room, how much did the customer want to pay?
Yeah.
All these things you can't tell from a picture. So I think a lot of the time, like I've said it before on here, if you look at someone's work that they've posted on social media and you want to say something negative or pick fault in it, just stop and think to yourself, what the fuck has this got to do with me? Because you don't know anything about that job. Oh, why have you fitted a Worcester? Well, the customer wanted a Worcester.
Yeah.
They specifically said to me, I want a Worcester boiler because my son's got one, he loves it, and he's told me, Mum, you need to get a Worcester. That's the end of it. I don't care if you
that sounds personal.
I know exactly what Pete's saying, because we can go on rants about it constantly. People just expect the thing is, we do a YouTube video and you could say, I'm doing this, this and this. We won't show the whole job. We haven't got time. Equally, I don't want to do how-to videos. But there's reasons and things that are done just because it's the way the customer wants it. Because we don't say that, people take it as oh, you don't know what you're doing because you put the fuse board on the left-hand wall, not the right one. No. That's what the customer asked for. It's their house. They're paying for it.
People should know this sort of stuff.
It's
But
very
also
frustrating.
rising above certain things.
Yeah.
If you are putting yourself in a very public eye, you are
expect it.
exposed.
Yes.
You're exposed, and also there are a lot of people who will take a great pleasure of doing it because they will feel that they are generating a bit of limelight off you. And I think if you rise above it, you almost take away the ammunition.
Yeah.
But that's why I like Instagram, really, because I honestly think it's not, if it is there, it's small, you know.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's positive in it, and there's like people are saying nice job, or you know, or they're curious about like how you did something, like rather than saying, oh, what have you done that for?
Yeah, Twitter's the opposite. Twitter is poisonous.
But on Instagram,
place.
what you'll find is if you're doing a good job and you conduct yourself well and you're always positive, if someone does do a troll comment and says something,
people jump on it.
you don't need to say anything because
Gets
your
defensive
followers
from
will
others.
defend you and they'll tell the person.
I think I had it recently. Well, not recently, about a year ago or something. I can't remember what the actual job was now, but someone had screenshotted something from Instagram, a job that I'd done, and then they posted it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then someone had said, well, why has he done that for? And then like I was getting screenshots sent to me of other people defending me, saying, "Well, it's the camera angle. You can't see it. Like if you had actually looked, you could see that it's fine. You know, the way he's done it is fine. But like it was just weird that people was just defending me, and I didn't even know it was happening.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the thing that I'm so jealous of nowadays is the young apprentices or new learners that come in that already have Instagram and YouTube to look at the way things maybe should be done, shouldn't be done. Yeah. And when I started, which was a long time ago now, not as long as you guys, but is there was nothing there to look to or to look at new materials, because this is one of the things I found with Instagram is I could see what other tools and materials people were using. Yeah. Beforehand, it was just what was in the wholesaler when you walked in on the shelf. That was it.
Absolutely.
Back in the day, you couldn't find the boiler manual online.
Yeah.
You had to pay for it, like $5.
Yeah, it's true.
So, Viktor, social media for you, because you're quite active on Instagram, have you found using people who've got an Instagram platform have helped you grow the business? Is that like, if you put in percentages, has it helped you a little bit, or has it helped you a lot to get the message out there that Snap-IT?
It definitely has. I think when I started Snap-IT and I was like trying to find the ways how to get the word out in the fastest possible way, I went on Instagram, and I was absolutely shocked to see the community that you basically, as I just learned, built to start with, that migrated from Twitter. And it was quite humbling in the way that you had a unity. I've seen those photos of shows that you've been getting together, and you know there is a lot of camaraderie that comes through those photos that makes you want to be part of it. And I think this is a great part about social media that you guys have created by accident or by just simply sharing your everyday lives, that's definitely attracting more people to the shows because of that bit of a banter, that bit of a community afterwards and all the other events. So from a commercial aspect, to start with, I have learned the fact that you do get 1 million messages, and I was definitely 100 out of that million probably in person. I did not take it personally because I did expect also, you know, that is the case. Also, what I've learned, a lot of the people on Instagram, they wouldn't brag about things unless they tried those. And there are people on Instagram that are influencers. You can throw money at them and they will say whatever you want them to say, but they don't carry much weight. So we don't use them as a company. Yeah. What we have done, we have tried to create a lot of perks to incentivize people to use Snap-IT and openly say how it was. And I think use more of that kind of an engagement level. I remember I actually paid Glister to come to my office. Yeah. I said, I'll pay you. Come to my office and break Snap-IT. Like literally break Snap-IT. We'll put you live on Instagram. I did put my, manlyhood out there, and I think that was the only way how I could really get his attention to, like, right, let's do it. So he turns up, he picks up an iPhone, he goes like, right, never done it before, downloads the app, picks out like what is the most difficult thing you can buy. So he goes for Jebrid 28mm gas fittings with the reducers, and he buys like 250 quid worth of them, which was nice, helped my revenue a little bit at this investment that we did. The items arrived within 37 minutes. Yeah. And I think I got a few more gray hairs because it was few merchants that you had to bounce between because nobody stocks Jebrid. There are lots of different press fittings people have, but Jebrid at the time was one of the least stocked ones. So, and I think this is one of the ways leveraging the media channels and let's say people who are most followed on the channels, because I've learned lots of people don't want to be called influencers because they're actually not influencers, because they don't do it professionally and they just don't brag about things.
It's just a hobby for a lot of people, isn't it? Hobby.
It's just putting it out there what they do to educate others, to help others.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very important aspect to help others. Someone thinks that they discovered something that's good, they'll put it out there. And that's the bottom line of it. So how I could find a way to break the ice to engage these people, that was another, like, you know, I was trying different angles. I was trying to direct, trying to there, and you have to make it interesting also for others. And I think Glister possibly was one of the better cases how it was, I think, it was very interesting for him to do that as well.
Yeah.
So,
It's such a good way to promote it. We have it.
or destroy it.
You're destroyed because the creative freedom is there for him to see if it works and if it fails.
Yeah.
And I think when I've been approached a few times, I know you do as well with the sponsor stuff, is allow the influencer, I hate the word as well, to have the creative freedom with it, to test it and try it in their own way, and to see if it will work for them. Because there's a few things that I've tried that haven't worked, and I've gone, all right, well, I'm not doing it. I'm not part of it.
Because the thing with that is, if you are doing stuff like that, if you recommend something that's not good, you will lose your credibility fast.
Instantly.
Yeah.
And you won't be around for as long as we have if you're going to do stuff like that. I went for the first 4 or 5 years. I love Wearer tools, and I've got loads of them. I've bought them all myself. And people just assumed that I was paid by them because I was always like, this is great, this is great, this is great, because I thought it was great. And you know,
You end up saying on videos, I've paid for this myself. This is
well,
not
I've never done that because I know I've paid for it for myself. So, people will think what they think. Some people will dislike you just for no reason at all.
Yeah.
But I know, but it's just a way of losing your credibility by saying something's good that's not, because someone will buy it, they'll spend their hard-earned money on it, and if it's junk, they're going to let you know, and they're going to let everyone know.
Yeah, you can't do that to people. It's like,
What do you want? A small, do you want 300 quid and then lose your reputation, or do you want to, keep building your platform, keep doing things that you like doing, recommending things that you think are good?
But look at also other, back in the day, the favorite, let's say, automobile shows where there would be 3 chaps doing the reviews.
Yeah.
And often the car manufacturer would get a lot of airtime, but in the end of it, would have been christened to be crap.
Yeah.
So, and there was a bit of a banter involved in this. And I think it's correct that a lot of people on social medias are not influencers. Hence, you can't just expect that to go there, knock on the door, give them some cash and, get the good word out there, because reality is you guys are out there to help others and speak your mind. And a lot of the reasons why you have so many followers, because they are taking an advice, or they're considering your opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, the honesty and genuine,
genuine. That's the
you got to be
word,
genuine.
isn't it?
People see straight through it.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's that many things you can watch of sponsored videos or whatnot, and I can watch it now and go, that's crap. That's crap. You know for a fact it's all written down.
And there's
it's
always
been told to say
there's
it.
some that are so bad. Like, do you remember there was one? It was like a fan.
Oh God.
It's like something you'd buy from a petrol station. It was a fan that you clipped underneath your radiator, and you had to run a cable on the skirt into
Blow the hot air out.
Yeah, just things like that. You
sounds
just
brilliant.
think, why would you put your name to that and show that? Obviously, someone's gave you a load of money to say it. There's loads of examples of it. Right, so shall we do the fastest lap?
Start your engine! And the winner is...
Bisley Workwear now proudly sponsors Trade Legends.
Okay, so we're going to wrap it up. We'll do final thought. So, anything you want to, for the people watching, listening, any advice you want to give them, maybe inspire them to have the next idea, the next Snap-It. If you want to plug your social media channels, that's absolutely fine as well. But yeah, any wisdom you want to pass on from what you've learned so far?
For myself, I think every journey starts from first step. And regardless what other people tell you, just focus on what you think you can achieve, or your vision, what you think could really work, and work at it before come to any conclusions. Often little success leads to more work and bigger success. So when I came up with the idea of Snap-It, a lot of people laughed me out of the room, and it took me a long 3 years. And I think the funniest part of it was today when I went into Birmingham Merchants and I got laughed out of the room over there as well, because they haven't heard of Snap-It before. Yeah. So they're lost. So we'll approach them again and we'll educate them better. So even hard rejections, they don't mean much. Maybe it just means you go back to a drawing board and find a different angle how to approach something. Yeah. I think it could be applied across absolutely everything, from having a problem installing a boiler or wiring a fuse board. You might gonna have to go back to it a couple of times before you hack it. But I think consistency, precision, and just focus on the end goal, what you would like to achieve. So stick to that and work at it. And regarding the social media, you can guys follow our story on Snap-It Limited on Instagram.
Yep.
And I think this currently is our main channel. We also have a TikTok. I think it's also Snap-It Limited, and Twitter. So yeah.
Just quickly, if someone laughs you out of the Merchants, what kind of person does that make you motivated to get back in there at a later date and sort of make them?
You know what? There is a tiny bit of you want to onboard the biggest competitor and make them come back to you, and you charge them for onboarding, right?
Yeah.
That would be a petty way of doing it, but
satisfying though.
I think today was a humbling experience for me, because I have underestimated the mountains to climb. I did not come as prepared as I should have been.
Okay.
And the lack of success today in certain merchants was a lack of preparation and information that could have provided to those merchants. So always take a step back before you point the fingers or trying to say someone hasn't done something right or they are not seeing your vision. It's all about coming from yourself, educating others what your vision is and how they could benefit from it, and always come prepared, be prepared also to take knocks, go back and understand why this happened.
Cool. That's a good shout. I still think it's crazy how that you can get laughed out of the room. Like, from me not knowing about you at all until today, your business plan and method around it to me
sounds great, doesn't it?
Awesome. Like, genuinely, like,
some people don't like new things and they're scared of taking that leap, because nowadays there are so many different ways how you can fraud money out of people. When somebody comes to you like, hey, I'll give you an iPad for free, put it on your till, and there's going to be like orders coming through, and the moped's going to be picking it up, and you're going to be getting cash, and it all for free. They just freak out.
Yeah.
I think plumbers are very much like that. They don't like change. My dad will still drive to the Merchants just to inquire about something. I'm like, Dad, just ring them. You can just ring them. You want a radiator, just ring them and say, I want this radiator. But he just likes to go in.
But it's absolutely fine. And I truly believe that, it's a massive industry. There is enough to go around for everyone. Some people do love to write down things on a piece of paper. Some people use an iPhone of it. Some people take a picture of the problem and they take the picture to the merchant, and then they'll say, I need X, Y, Z. Yeah. So the Snap-It is not for everyone. And also it is very recent change of behavior that we're driving in the industry to not perhaps plan as far ahead, because you can get it tomorrow at any time. You don't need to go to the merchants, lose your pocket because you can have it delivered. It's fundamentally we're driving by behavior of human, how they do their things, and you cannot expect everybody just jump out their chair and do whatever you just suggested.
Yeah.
So it takes time, and also there's maybe going to be a generation, and maybe people will not going to want to drive to merchants at all. So it really depends.
It'd be magic, that would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I hate going to the wholesalers. Hate
You
it.
just snap it and you get stuff.
There you go.
Ian?
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you know that hasn't clicked until now, until the name?
There you go. I don't know. Come and follow me on social media at IRB Heating. That'd be good. Like my stuff, that's fantastic. But just, if you're watching this and you're not on social media, I'd suggest that you get on there. Put your work up, showcase it, and just be positive about stuff as well. I
Join
think
the community.
having a positive outlook, get involved. You're going to make some friends as well, which is always a nice thing. Like we said, it can be a bit lonely on your own. So make some friends, and it's good. I mean, I've got a hashtag as well, Pete.
Yeah.
R-flu kidding me. That's my little thing that I've got.
I didn't know it was you.
That's me, mate. That's from the early days of Twitter.
Funny. When we used to, so if someone sees a really badly installed dangerous flu, they send a picture in and tag up Ian with hashtag #R-flu kidding me, and he will share it. But when he first come up with that hashtag, we were sending in different. So I was doing like hashtag that flu is shit.
Hey, can you stop it? Can you stop it, please, Peter?
What was like hashtag? I don't know. Just,
mate,
there was just loads of
you boys just came up with loads, and I was like, "You're killing me! You're killing me!"
So we were posting the pictures, but using these funny flashbacks.
They were doing me, mate.
But social media. If you're not on it, you don't even have to post your work. You can just get an account on there. You can follow people like IRB, follow SNAP-IT, Nick, and see what they're doing and enjoy their content. You don't have to put your own pictures up. There's nothing saying you've got to do that. You can just be following and.
Yeah, lots of people have got accounts where they might interact, but they don't post
themselves.
So, there's a...
And that comes with confidence. You might, when you first go on, you might think, I'm never going to put my work on there. But then you might ease into it and you might think, yeah, okay, I'll try one. And then hopefully if you get a good response. Like when I did my first ever video on Twitter, I thought people were going to hate it.
Yeah.
And then they liked it and that encouraged you to do more. And then look where I am now. So
I know, it's putting pictures on now, even for Sparks, all you got to do is put a picture on a fuse board. Is there any tips or tricks or any way I can make this better? 99% of the comments will be like, yeah, of course, no, this and this. And it's just a great way of learning outside the college area. It's invaluable, really.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. It's been fun.
Cool.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, mate. Till next time.
Hopefully I'll see you next week.
Dinner's on me, all right.
All right, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
If you like listening to Al talk over all the guests, if you've enjoyed this episode of Trade Legends, listening to Al talk over everybody else and people banging on the desk, if you've enjoyed listening to him watching today, you fucking gonna just stay still, one space just for a minute.
If you've enjoyed watching this, blah, 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 blah.
So
Right, 3, 2, 1, go.
So I'll just not do it.
Go.
Yeah, you sure? I'm gonna shut up for just like a minute. If you've enjoyed listening and watching today's Trade Legends podcast, please subscribe to our channel. It will really help us out. We're a new podcast. We want to do big things, and you subscribing, hitting the little bell so you get notifications, would be just great. Thank you.
Hitting the little bell. I was like, yeah, ding, 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 ding.
There is a little bell in there.